Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast. And I released my WWE Fastlane predictions the other day, and I did not do too hot on those predictions because WWE Fastlane has come and it has sped right by us in the Fastlane, pun intended. And I want to talk about the show with you. I want to kind of go into each match, talk about, how much I enjoyed it. Did I enjoy it? Was it a little, not the best, but for the most part, from an overall consensus, I had a great time watching WWE Fastlane from Indianapolis, Indiana. We saw the likes of Jade Cargill. Now, I can check that off on my prediction episode. I did say and predict that there might be the possibility of a Jade Cargill sighting. She is the big blockbuster signing to WWE, and with a premium live event like Fastlane here, shortly after her announcement of her signing, made all the sense in the world to get her on a little bit bigger of a platform than social media. She showed up during the kickoff show. She was greeted by Triple H. They shook hands and they walked along. We didn't really talk or see much more of Jade on the main show, as it was pretty much focused on the 5 matches that we had. And I have to say, typically the WWE live event match format is usually like 6 to 7 matches. But with a 5-match card, honestly, the show flew by and each match got the time that I think it really deserved. So starting from the very first match of Fastlane to the last man standing main event, let's take a look at each of these matches. The first match on the Fastlane match card was for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship, which saw the Judgment Days, Damian Priest, Senor Money in the Bank, and the Prince, Finn Balor, defend those titles against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Whoa! And main event, Jey Uso. It's just him, Uso now. Well, it's him and Cody. Cody and Jey taking on Finn and Priest. This was a fantastic opening match for Fastlane. It got me locked in. It set the trajectory for the rest of the show, and it was full of high-octane wrestling and pure energy from the Indianapolis fans. The winners of the match saw a shocking Tag Team Championship change, and Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes are your new undisputed Tag Team Champions. Now, I will say this was after the Judgment Day, Mommy Rhea Ripley, Dirty Dom Mysterio, and of course, we don't know if he's officially part of the group or not, JD McDonough, or as Cody liked to call him, JD McFunko Pop Head. Now, good match, good with the shenanigans, really had me at a couple points where I didn't think Cody and Jey were going to pull it off, but they did, and they are your new Tag Team Champions. And I cannot help but feel that this gets Cody Rhodes one step closer to the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. And we know the Tribal Chief will be back next Friday on the Friday the 13th edition of Friday Night SmackDown. And after the fallout from Fastlane in the last couple months with the Bloodline, Jimmy and Solo, I have no doubt that Roman's going to have a lot to say. As for Jey and Cody, we would later see them in the WWE Fastlane press conference, and after Cody letting us know that they had a couple libations on the bus, Jey and Cody gave us some really, really fun responses to some of the questions and some pretty funny moments, most notably with Jey just saying yeet, yeet, yeet to everything. I'll put a little bit of some of the clips here from the press conference as I'm talking about it. But funny stuff here. Happy for Cody. He now has championship gold for the first time since returning at WrestleMania 38 to WWE, and very close to the time that he last held those titles with his brother Goldust before he departed the company the first time. The next match that took place on Fastlane was going to see the LWO, Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar, with a mystery partner, take on the almighty Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits in a 6-man tag match. Now, Ray had made a call, and according to Ray on the kickoff show for Fastlane, he was left on red. So Santos and Ray came out and they did their best with man down. They were a man down for the most of the match, and then the music hit, and it was music that I was not familiar with, but Carlito has finally made his return back to WWE. The last time we saw him was at Backlash in Puerto Rico, and he helped Ray and Santos get the win over the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. Not too much I can say about this. It was fun. It was really especially fun for the surprise and the return of Carlito. Now, I was a little confused. We did not get to hear the infamous "I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool" music. So Carlito has some new theme music, and it's going to take me some time to get used to it. The next match that we saw take place on Fastlane was the Women's Championship Triple Threat, which saw champ Io Sky, the Genius of the Sky, defend her title against Charlotte Flair, and the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Now, this match, this triple threat, I told you it had the potential to steal the show in the prediction episode, and it did just that for me. It was a fantastic triple threat outside of a couple awkward moments. Other than that, this was a great women's match. Of course, it was the only women's match on Fastlane. Would have loved to maybe have seen, the women's tag titles get defended, but I'm not nitpicking. Fastlane was a fun show, and it really kept the momentum going for WWE with their record-breaking premium live events, as we hear Triple H say in the press conference later on. This match, really good, really fun. Io Sky defends her title, and it started off hot with Asuka spraying the mist in Charlotte's eyes, effectively getting her out of the match for most of the beginning of it, as then she transitions back in towards the latter half of the match. There are a couple big spots. There are, of course, the moonsault that Charlotte likes to do as well involved. But overall, great match. Io told Bayley that I don't want your help. Bayley still shows up during the match, and in turn was the deciding factor and was the reason, clearly, that Io Sky was able to retain her championship. The co-main event of Fastlane was going to see the greatest of all time. You can't see him. The 16-time world champ, John Cena, tag team with the megastar, L.A. Knight. Yeah. L.A. Knight and John Cena are going to tag team, and they are going to take on the Bloodlines, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. Now, once again, nothing and can be said about the megastar and his climb to the next level since he dropped the Max Dupree gimmick. Even Triple H said it on the Fastlane press conference. What a year makes a difference. We were talking about him as Max Dupree, and now look at him. The crowd loves him. We love him. I love the guy. I got a shirt, and if you don't have your LA Knight shirt, make sure you click the link in the description of this episode, and you use my WWE Shop affiliate link to get yourself some merch and help support Mouthing Off with Mike. After my cheap promotional plug, I have to say LA Knight and Cena versus Solo and Jimmy delivered all of the expectations that I had for this match. It was fun. Clearly, Cena is doing the character of like, hey, I'm up there in age. I don't have it, and he mentions that in the press conference later on. LA Knight comes in, gets the mega baby face hot tag reaction from the crowd. After every move LA Knight did in the match to get in the match, the crowd is going, yeah. So what more could you want? The guy is over. The megastar stock continues to rise, and he gives the rub to John Cena after the match, holding up Cena's arm, and then, of course, John holds up his arm in victory. They're on the press conference, and we know that John Cena was asked a question, of course, about the SAG-AFTRA strike, and with the writers and potentially things moving back with Hollywood full circle. It seems that if John Cena were to be called, he would have to return to Hollywood. He is under contract. just one of those unique scenarios that we were able to get him for a couple weeks. And like Triple H said in the press conference, treasure every minute you're going to get with a guy like John Cena. And I'll reinforce that even more so. Treasure it with a guy like Edge, Adam Copeland in AEW. Treasure it with Chris Jericho. Treasure it with those guys who, are up there in age. Rey Mysterio, Bobby Lashley. Enjoy the time we have with them, because we will not have forever with them in the ring. So enjoy it while you got it. And 100%, I enjoyed it tonight while I got it. And if this is one of the last, John Cena runs or second to last runs, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And thank you, John Cena. The main event of Fastlane was pretty damn good. Now, I'm a little bit biased. You heard me say it on the prediction show. I was anticipating Shinsuke to win the World Heavyweight Championship and potentially see Senor Money in the Bank cash in that briefcase, But that did not happen. Seth, after a hellacious last man standing match against Shinsuke, retained the World Heavyweight Championship. So in my personal opinion, at this very junction, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And I'm going to tell you that the next match, whoever this main event feud will be with Seth, I more than likely have it being against Gunther. And I think Gunther will be the one to dethrone Seth. Now, who beats Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship? I don't know. I don't think anyone will. Or, at least at this current level, I don't know who's being built up as a viable threat to Gunther. But right here, if Seth is beating Shinsuke in this hellacious last man standing and the whole story is about Seth's bad back, clearly it didn't give out tonight. When is it going to give out? That is the story now for Seth Rollins, and that's where we're going to progress. Now, bias aside, fantastic last man standing match. Could it be one of the best? Maybe that conversation can be had. I can go back, rewatch it. I kind of need to sometimes with those big matches. I need to watch it twice to really feel it. But a once over watch, very enjoyable match, very, very vicious on both sides, Shinsuke and Seth. Like I said, would have liked to seen Shinsuke win the title. He was built up as an absolute powerhouse, dominant. I thought that the way they built Shinsuke up, that he was going to dethrone Seth. And then we saw the Judgment Day open Fastlane, and then we saw an interaction with Rhea and Priest where Priest was ready to go cash in, but Rhea told him, "Nuh-uh, tonight's not the night," and took the briefcase away from him. And I tweeted on my socials, at MOWM_podcast, that right there should be your indicator on who runs the Judgment Day. The leader of the Judgment Day is, in fact, Mommy Rhea Ripley. So what she says goes, and that's final. Overall, Fastlane, I would give it 4 of the old Italian hands on the Mouthing Off with Mike grading scale. I don't do star ratings. I ain't the star purveyor guy, but I'll give you the old Italian hands. I'll give you 4 of them for Fastlane. Very fun show. Cannot wait to see what happens on the one-time Tuesday night war between NXT and AEW Dynamite. NXT is loaded. Cody Rhodes, Asuka, Paul Heyman, John Cena, and we're hinting at The Undertaker. Dynamite is loaded. We've got Swerve versus Bryan Danielson. We've got Phoenix versus Mox. We've got Adam Copeland versus Luchasaurus and more. Both shows stacked. Both shows head-to-head for one night only on Tuesday. And I can't wait. I will have the dual screen set up. I am not missing a second of the action when it comes to NXT or AEW. But there you have it, folks. Be on the lookout for my socials this week. Once again, at MOWM_podcast, because I will make the formal announcement for episode 2 of the Spooky Season series. And the second episode is going to be a joint episode. I'm going to cover a couple different spooky characters throughout the history of WWE. I'm going to change the format on it just for the next couple weeks of Halloween. I decided to make some changes, and I'm going to do it. Just when you think you know the game, I change it on you. So there you have it, folks. a very enjoyable show for Fastlane, and even enjoyable press conference because we got some great moments from Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, Triple H. But quite frankly, here's hoping your boy here at the Mouthing Off with Wrestling podcast gets to go ahead and attend one of these press conferences in person, because I've got a lot of questions up here in this brain of mine that I would absolutely love to ask some of your favorites. So don't forget to mouth off with me, social media at MOWM_podcast. Let me know what you thought of Fastlane here in the description of this episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff you do on YouTube. If you're listening here to the audio only on Spotify, Apple, Google, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting. And don't forget to go out there and enjoy some good pro wrestling. From your host here at the Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast, I'm Mike, signing off. Go out there and enjoy pro wrestling.
Mouthing off with Mike, mouthing off with Mike, mouthing off.